Chair Lon Johnson.
Good morning.
Happy Friday to you, sir.
Happy Friday to you. Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Wow. Where to begin with the topics that have been coming at us all week like this? I have things I want to ask you about, but what are you going to, when you get on the ferry today, what's going to resonate with you on the drive home that you're going to sort of noodle around and ponder that you learned at this event?
Well, it's just across the board, just a terrific event where, business leaders, government leaders, nonprofit leaders come together and start talking about, how do we create the state where we can stay here and succeed. Mike Rowe's talk, Nate Silver's talk, Mayor Duggan's talk. It was terrific to see Senator Stabenow and Congressman Upton come together and talk about protecting our Great Lakes. Coming together up here in an off-election year, it was, it was a great bipartisan spirit, I think, going on.
Voters like that, don't they?
Sure.
It seems
Well,
like
I think
they do.
That's what voters are looking for. They're looking for people who create, a vision for our state and have the ability to get it executed and willing to work on a bipartisan basis to get things done. Yeah.
It must be interesting for you to watch the Michigan legislature, Republican-controlled House,
Talk about anything but
at odds with the governor. Their own governor.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Republican Party has, somehow migrated from a party of limited government, which is a legitimate philosophy, to these Tea Party extremists who go to Lansing or to Washington and do absolutely nothing. Their view of government is just no to everything.
Nate Silver, you mentioned just a minute ago, and that is interesting because he said yesterday, this is sort of the prognosticator, that while obviously Hillary Clinton will be the nominee for president for the Democrats, that it's not a foregone conclusion that she'd win the general election, as some people might think.
Hillary? Be our nominee? Oh, I think, the odds are...
That's for sure. Nate Silver saying, though, the general is in question.
Well, I think, all presidential elections are not preordained. She's going to have to go out there and she's going to make her case. But we like who, if it is Hillary, I have to remain neutral. But if it is Hillary, I don't think we've had a more experienced, more able nominee in our party's history. And I think that she's willing from day one, able to go and execute on a vision for this country. That will rise all boats and deliver for us an economy and a foreign policy that's going to work for everyone.
We have had some fun here. People let their hair down, as you say, a little bit. You wear goofy clothes, and even Senator Stabenow was here the other day. I brought this out to show her. Someone gave me this as a gift. This is the Hillary Clinton Nutcracker. And it says on here that she cracks the toughest nuts.
Well, there's a hell of a lot of nuts in your Republican Party, so...
I think this is a compliment, though, don't you?
Well, I think that's kind of offensive, to be honest
with
you.
You do? You can take it either way. I think you've got to have a tough person with a thick skin.
Well, she's got it, and I think, we've got plenty of nuts in your party in the clown car, nominee show of a Republican primary for president, so she's going to have to really... choose which one to go after.
Yeah, I guess so. What about the bench, the very deep bench, it seems like, lining up for governor in the state of Michigan? If you believe sort of the C-flow, that you get 8 years of a Republican, then you get 8 years of a Democrat, it kind of winds back and forth like that. But the bench and the names that have been surfacing here on the island in the last few days could rival the Republican GOP presidential list. I've heard 6, 7, 8 names.
Minus the crazy, but yeah.
I guess so. What do you make of that? Can you handicap that a little bit? Are the names that intrigue you the most? I know you have to stay neutral.
Well, I obviously as chairman, I have to remain neutral, but I think there'll be no shortage of Democratic candidates for governor. We've got a terrific bench out there. I think that are demonstrating, how we create a state where we can stay and succeed, whether it's at the legislature, whether it's at the municipal level. Or at the federal level, we have people out there in our party working to create a state where we can stay and succeed by investing in our greatest assets, our people, our land, and Great Lakes. As far as specific names, you're not, I want to remain chairman for the next 2 years, so I'll dodge that one, Mike.
Let's ask this then. If let's presume Senator Whitmer wants to run for governor, former Senator Whitmer, how does she stay relevant? How does she stay in the public eye, and even though she's out of office now, in order to hold on to that mantle?
Well, she's had a long career of, both in private life and in public, of moving our state forward. And I know that she's going to be working to practice some law, and she's, I think, teaching right now. I think she'll have no shortage of causes and concerns to go out there and work for. Just because you're not in public office doesn't mean you're not part of the solution of creating a state where we can stay and succeed.
It's going to be it's very interesting to me, that the names when you talk about, for instance, someone like Mark Hackel. Who also seems to be very interested in running for governor. And then he comes from a part of the state where they used to have what they called the Reagan Democrats. That was a long time ago. But what do you make of his chances?
Well, Mark's he's a proud Democrat. He's getting reelected, year after year within Macomb County, like you said, a very bipartisan county. There's no one party there that has a lock on power. It's leaders like what you just mentioned, Gretchen Whitmer, Mark Hackel, Mayor Duggan, Congressman Kildee, that are out there, working every single day to demonstrate to the people of Michigan how they're going to create a state where we can stay and succeed in a way that lifts everyone up.
How do you define a Democrat?
How do I define a Democrat? It's very, I think the answer there is that a Democrat believes in investing in our greatest assets, our people, our land, and our Great Lakes. I think what we see out of the Republican Party is just continued answer of less government, less regulation, and that is, I get it, that has its time and place, but right now in Michigan we need to make major investments in our infrastructure, in our education, to create a state where we can stay and succeed. We are losing too many of our children and our grandchildren to cities like Atlanta and Chicago and New York, San Francisco, because they just can't stay here and succeed. A Democrat is working to invest in our greatest assets, our people, our land, and Great Lakes, versus Republicans who just continuously hand our tax dollars over to business.
The chair of the Michigan Democratic Party, Lon Johnson, nice to see you in person here. See you back downstate.
Thank you.